Okay. Testing. 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 One, one, two, three. Gamer 1, Episode 2, Projection, Part 1. Level up. Hey, what's up? My name is Kyron Turner, aka Gamer1, and I'm back with my second episode, diving more into this creative, unique video game expression that I've wanted to embark on when I first started, right? Whether it be here on YouTube, on Twitch, through reels that I post, my expression for video games is big, it's loud, it's rambunctious. It might even be annoying to some of you. If you answer in the comments, we will fight. We will fight. But nonetheless, I am Gamer1 because video games lead me on an adventure that gives me this life energy to be able to continue to be the best person I can be in the real world, right? There's nothing like an adventure, specifically for me, open world RPGs, which we'll get in probably in another video, but being able to explore in these types of games, or even any type of game, action, fighting, just anything that you enjoy, brings me this sense of I can go outside and the world will be beatable. I can level up and I can grow and I can fuck up and I can make mistakes, but I can beat this level, type shit. So here in this second episode, I have developed over the years a love for writing, even going on fantastical endeavors with the pen to write out stories that are kind of in my head. And here recently, I did a podcast with a very good friend of mine, The Ephemeral Ocean, called The One and Only Gaymers Podcast. And on that podcast, we tried to approach podcasting in video games on a different level, at a different mindset. We didn't want to do something that was done because we wanted to be creative and artistic and put something out there that we felt mattered. And in one of the episodes, we wrote stories with the theme of video games in mind to our younger selves. If you know anything about me, my childhood was difficult in some ways, and it has nothing to do with my mother. She is the apple of my world, the crown of my eye. Everything about my mom is perfect, and my family, my sister and my nephew, I love them to death, but my childhood was a bit rough, right? And this story in video games was a way to express through my younger self to myself now something that I felt I needed to know. Especially when it comes to how video games have impacted me on a real level. Like I'm definitely driven by this search for creativity when it comes to this digital media, right? And so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to read you my story, my original story, based on video games, based on my childhood, based on fantasy. I hope you enjoy it. This is an original story written by me entitled Projection. It is the story of a mysterious stranger visiting a young boy and the story he tells this young boy to save his life. Have you ever been afraid of yourself? The young boy held his head towards the ground, waiting for an answer. A man replied, "Always." In fact, the man continued, "I have never entered a battle where my palms weren't sweating, my soul wasn't crying, my heart wasn't bleeding. Afraid of myself not only because of the many different people I've been throughout my life, but because of the things they've had to go through. Leveling up to begin to fully understand myself, each level harder than the last. The little boy felt gut punched. Where was this man's bravery, his inner hero? With his head still hung low, the boy questioned. So how do you not be afraid? How do you get to a place of not wanting to scream and holler at yourself for every wrong move you make? Today was hard for me, sir. Really hard. Like I'm crying right now because I feel forgotten, lost, left behind. I feel like the only person who can see me sometimes is me. The only person who can hear me sometimes is me. I'm afraid of myself because I don't know if I'm important enough to be anything else other than afraid. Afraid of the darkness that comes with being afraid and made to feel so small. The man let out a deep breath. The wind pouring music from his lips filled with melodies of forgiveness, understanding. He asked, "What were you doing when I knocked on your door?" The little boy pointed at a purple electronic device sitting on his bed, rectangular in shape and see-through in design. Playing Pokemon Yellow. Like, it's a really fun game. Have you ever played it? Pikachu gets to follow you around and everything, and I just learned about this Pokemon named Cubone too. It wears the skull of its mom after she dies. Every tear it sheds for her makes it stronger. It made me think about why I cry so much and if my tears are making me stronger. The man's lips curved into a slight smile, remembering. He scooted closer to the table the young boy was seated at, making sure not to knock over the red Kool-Aid, dangerously balancing on the edge of the desk. Some things never change, he chuckled. Let me tell you a story. A story about a young child who used their imagination and the power of projection to show those who overlooked them just how important they were. Strong, even. Well, if you are offering your lives, I will have to take them. The man brandished his sword as the two opposing sides charged forth. The battle had begun. Two companions fired off magic at the henchmen opposite the evil maester, crumbling them to the ground as they evaporated into a fiery glow.
Feel my pain. Come, anima!
The sky ripped open as an anchor-like hook plunged from the clouds, tearing a portal into the earth below. A terrible, grotesque being roared in agony. Baby, I love you, but please turn that down. Like the snap of a carrot, the young boy was sucked back into the vacuum that was his reality. 6:15 p.m., the clock read. When did it get this late? Recapping his morning and what had turned out to be his afternoon, he could have sworn that he had just turned on the game. He wasn't too surprised at the occurrence, though. You see, he had a secret superpower. Or at least that's what he was going to call it. Anytime he felt unworthy, unseen, or underestimated, he would project himself into a world of fantasy. A world where he controlled his outcomes because he so often couldn't in his own reality. He so often couldn't control what people thought of him, even when all he ever wanted to do was bring joy to others, give love to others. Sorry, he hollered back. The maester fell to his knees, bowing at the pure power that love can overcome anything. After some time, the man's mentor hastened the group ahead.
It won't be that easy. Let's get out of here.
Save point. Now, since being introduced to the idea, the young boy wished it were a thing in real life. Saving right before things went wrong. A save point to count your resources before you went into battle, before you walked through the doors of life. An image flashed across his mind. A monochromatic table sitting against the back wall of a cafeteria. The sounds of the doors to the room opening and closing as his hopes that someone would notice him sitting alone ebbed. The hopes that someone would reach out a hand and grab his ebbed. He couldn't move. Frozen in time, struck by the fear of tomorrow. Twisted up in strands of desperation for something different, a different outcome, a different story, his story. A cold wind swept through the air, damp and musty with the stench of blood and fear. Rags lay draped over the young man as he opened his eyes to realize that he was in a prison. Slimy and wet was the ground as his senses were shocked alive by a droplet of water that kissed his scalp, rising. He knew not of how he arrived, but only that his time was short and that he was destined for more than this. A shrill voice echoed across the prison hall, nastily spewing nonsense neither relevant to the man nor to his current situation at hand. He grasped at the bars, tugging at them for signs of weakness as the heckler snickered from across the hall. The magic that was given to him by his elven brothers and sisters still coursed through his veins, although at this moment weak and fragile in nature, but no spell nor incantation could break the bars holding him hostage. Not any he had, currently anyway. Heavy footsteps could be heard approaching, clamoring up the walls of this mysterious fortress. Four voices locked in conversation coming right towards his cell door. This was his end. He was going to die. Stand back, prisoner. We won't hesitate to kill you if you get in our way. 3 guards entered the cell in formation surrounding an elderly man draped in decadent purple and red robes, a gorgeous jewel dangling from around his neck.
You? I've seen you,
exclaimed the imperial figure. A dream, an assassination, a hasty escape. A secret door revealed itself on the right side wall of the cell. The bricks slowly lowered as the guards hastened the man through. He was safe for now. As the group slowly made their way through the cold and dimly lit dungeon, something loomed just beyond the darkness. Unarmed, the man quickly maneuvered behind the guards, hurling his fragile magic spells into the attackers. Slain and safe. But his magic was depleted, and the odds of surviving another attack like that were low. He needed armor. He needed a weapon. Captain Renault, she's dead. I'm sorry, sire, but we have to keep moving. The young man knew what he needed to do, scavenge the bodies of those slain to live. It was the only way. Kneeling down, he began to pilfer the robes off of one of the dead assassins. His story. This was what life was supposed to feel like. Or at least that's what he had always hoped. From prisoner to destiny. All because he held his fate in his hands. All because he held the controller at his fingertips. The press of a button invited power. It invited intention. It invited hope. Invited change. Wow, he exclaimed. 11:30 p.m. It was time for bed. He knew what lay ahead for him in the coming week, and it almost made him want to stay up longer. Lingering in these moments of power, absorbed from his games, forever locked in this moment in time, a save point. He lay his head down that night, cartoons playing on the television in the background as he faced the wall, pondering how he felt and what he felt. This feeling that he had right now, unbreakable, unbeatable. This unlimited source of self, of being seen even when no one was watching, this undeniable truth that who he was, what he had to say, what he thought was important, deserved, necessary, if only simply because he was human, because he had a soul. That night, the young man cried himself to sleep. Not because he was sad or unhappy, but because he had discovered a new kind of pain. A pain that didn't bring with it ill tidings and anxiety, but a pain that gave new light to that same darkness that never left. There's two different types of pain: good pain and bad pain. The bad pain, being lied to, cheated on, betrayed, abandoned. The good pain, crying out every night because nobody sees you. Shedding a tear because you weren't brave enough to say what you wanted to say. Being upset because you may feel abandoned, alone. Why? Because it signals that you still want to fight. You still want to be seen, want to be here, want to feel accepted, want to be heard. Those tears show that there is still fight left in a soul who cries out for acceptance. The man knew that the pain he felt from feeling unheard and unseen caused him to shift his focus and gain power not from the world which seemed to have forgotten him, but from a world in which he could hover over every detail, every moment. A world where he could see himself as the hero and thus know he was the hero all along. The next morning, he woke up with the battles that he had fought yesterday burning in his soul. The sweet awakening that he had his destiny in his hands even before he went to face his reality. The boy looked at the man intensely as he finished his tale. My darkness. I'm never not going to be afraid of it, huh? The mysterious man answered back. No. But you will always have access to light that can saturate the darkness, even if for a moment feeling like you're invisible is a poison for a soul, one that I know you feel coursing through your veins, baby boy. As your life turns, you may even find yourself in many different states of visibility, some bringing on the urge to act a certain way because you feel that is the only way you can be seen under a rose-colored light. But be you. Be you who lit up when you told me about the new game you've been playing. The knowledge that you gain from these games that you love ages your soul so beautifully, painting it with so many vibrant and unique colors, teaching you the most important lessons about life, lessons of the heart. So many want to be seen, young one, but so many lack the sight for others. You need your darkness. Let it be your guide back to your light. The little boy asked the man, how did you get here? Where are you from? The man smiled, knowing that the power of projection was his just the same. You know, I haven't had anybody with any significant editing skills touch it yet, so it is definitely an imperfect story, right? Eat me up about the grammar, girl. Girl, why you say this when you could, girl, the comma, girl, why you write it like this? Yeah, I know, right? But when I sat and wrote this story, it was the most powerful thing, and it helped me in a dark place of my life. All I want to do is help. All I want to do is bring joy. I understand that along the way I will fuck up. But this story that I wrote was for me. It was for the little boy inside of me. And I just hope that somebody who heard it, who hears it, who it's passed along to, also gets some help from the words, from the message, from games, because I think they're beautiful. I really do. My name is Kyron Turner, aka Gamer1, here to provide you with an escape to level up and be great. Thank you so much. Please share this, like the video, comment, subscribe, do whatever you feel to support, and I will very much appreciate it. I hope you have a fucking fantastic day. I hope you have a great day. And I'll see you next time. Yeah. Waka.